This is Books Love Jenna, as in those books, they just love her. And I am here to share the Books Love Everyone Book Club February reads. So in February, if you would like to join us, you can find all of the information linked below in the link tree. There's the introductory video, there's the link to the Fable group, there is even a dedicated email address for the book club. And so everything you need is in the link tree down below. If you were discussing Jane Eyre and Praying with Jane Eyre with me, you should come back here on Saturday for a video about how to join the Zoom conversation on February 1st, if you're interested in that. If you are here to find out what we're reading in February, if you didn't read with us in January, but you want to read with us in February, jump on in because we've got two great picks. We have our nonfiction pick, Letters of a Portuguese Nun by Miriam Sear, and our fiction pick, Love Letters by Madeleine L'Engle. Now, Love Letters by Madeleine L'Engle is an adult novel by this traditionally celebrated YA author. Yes, she wrote a lot of YA. I would say the majority of what she wrote was YA focused. However, she wrote it in a time when the term YA didn't exist. And she had her first female teen protagonist coming out into the world very, very close to the time that J.D. Salinger had his. And I would say that both of those books, J.D. Salinger with Holden Caulfield and Madeleine L'Engle with Camilla, had very gritty, very rough, very in-your-face kinds of storyline and tone. And I think you should expect that from the Love Letters. This is not facing darkness the way that you face darkness in A Wrinkle in Time. This is facing human darkness, like darkness that originates within yourself. This is about a woman who I believe she and her husband have lost a child, so trigger warnings for that. And she has left. She's left the relationship. She has retreated to Portugal to kind of try and find herself, figure herself out, figure out whether or not this marriage is still working for her, whether or not she can work through this grief and this loss. When she comes across the story of this 1600s Portuguese nun who was in love with a soldier. I think he is a French soldier. A reread of the book will tell. I read this when I was a teenager many, many, many years ago. And I don't really remember it very well. But I do remember that it is about a woman. She is trying to figure stuff out, and she does so through the help of researching this nun. Our nonfiction pick, as you may remember, I just told you a second ago, is Letters of a Portuguese Nun, uncovering the mystery behind a 17th century forbidden love. So this is Miriam Sear's historical research into the actual story of the nun. These letters are well known. They were published for a long time, like in the 1800s. People believed that they were fabricated, that they were fictional, like an epistolary novel. But come to find out, actually, this woman existed. This soldier existed, and here Sear tries to tell the story in as genuine way as possible. So these two books together form our February reads. Again, if you did not read Jane Eyre with us, but you would like to read those, please jump in. If you only want to read the love letters, do it. If you only want to read Letters of a Portuguese Nun, do it. I do want to say that Madeleine L'Engle's tone in adult novels is definitely focused on writing for a mature, grown-up audience. If you've only read her YA stuff, please know that that's not what you're going to get. She doesn't shy away from talking honestly about the shadow side of life. So if you want something gritty and honest, then pick up the Love Letters. It's one that I haven't met a lot of people who have read, although it has been republished a couple of times now. For a long time, it was out of print. I happened to read it when I was a teenager, when it was completely out of print, because I stumbled upon a used copy of it and was like, oh, I've never heard of this Madeleine L'Engle. And surprise, surprise, it was gritty. But it's still her tone. It's still her. If you love her, you will still love her. I've never read anything by this nonfiction author. I don't know that they've written anything else. This is going to be my first time reading Letters of a Portuguese Nun. I don't know what we're going to find in there. I am excited about both of these picks. They're both pretty short. But I will say The Love Letters by Madeleine L'Engle does pack a punch. I think that these are two great picks for February, the month of love. And I am looking forward to reading with you. Again, if you didn't read with us in January, there's nothing stopping you from reading with us in February. And if you did read with us in January, but you're not interested in those books, you can hop back in March or whenever it is you find yourself going, ooh, I'd like to read those books. In the meantime, let's go read.